In this video, we are going to go over an example of a bull spread strategy using options. It's called a bull spread because you would be expecting for the market to be bullish as in stock prices are expected to go up. In order for this strategy to play out correctly, you need to ensure that K2 is greater than K1. That means that you're going to have a long call premium, well, a long call option, and a short call option. The short call being K2 must be greater than K1 for this to work. In this case, we got 35 and 30. So let's go ahead and go over it. We're going to talk about this table first, explain what those numbers are and where it looks that way, how it relates to the profits here, and how you can visualize it through this table and this chart. So let's start with here. The first thing I want to point out is that the ultimate goal of this table is this column here, the total payoff. That's what we care about, how to get to that. Now, I will repeat this as we explain, but total payoff and profit will be two different things here. And it's because total payoff only accounts for the options themselves. Profit includes the premiums paid or received. Okay, so let's start. What happens is that a stock price may fall in one of three categories when you do this strategy. The stock price could be below or equal to K1. And is because it's below or equal to 30, it's definitely below 35. So the stock price is below or equal to K1, in this case 30. There is no payoff for either one of the options. So your total payoff is 0. So 0 plus 0 equals 0. Now, what happens if the stock price in the future is between K1 and K2, but not equal? So we're talking about anywhere below 35, but not 35, and anywhere above 30, but not 30, somewhere between those two numbers. Then the long call option, the one you purchased, you can calculate the payoff by the stock price minus K1. So the stock price is greater than 30, whatever is above, that is your payoff. The short would not have a payoff because they would be exercised. Then the total payoff will be this plus 0. So you got the same here. All you do is take the stock price minus the strike price, and that's your payoff. The last scenarios where the stock price could be greater or equal to K2. So in other words, 35 or above. If it's 35 or above, it's clearly above 30. And this is what happens. There's a payoff in the long call calculated like this, the same way. Stock price minus K1. However, now we have a payoff on the short call, which is the stock price minus the stock price. So 35 minus whatever the stock price is. When you net these two out, notice that you have a negative stock price here and a positive here. So the STs cancel each other out, and you're left with a positive K2 and a negative K1. So you can write it as K2 minus K1. And that's the payoff of that scenario. So that's how we got to here. From these three potential scenarios, these are the payoffs that could happen when you're doing this strategy using two call options, one long, one short. Now, how do we use that to eventually get to the profit? So what we do, we take the stock price when it's below or equal to 30. You can calculate as following. We know that when the stock price is less or equal to 30, the payoff is 0. However, we got these premiums to talk about. So you purchased a long call premium. That's what you're in the long position. So that means you paid $3. So I'm going to minus $3. That's a cash outflow because you paid those $3. Plus the $1 you received for selling the call option. When you short the call, you're selling it. So $1 came in. So when you take the total payoff of 0 and take into account the cash flows of the premiums, you end up with negative $2. This one works a little different because of range. But before we get to that, let's show here on the table. So they're talking about this area that I just highlighted on the table. When the stock price is equal or less than 30, 30, 29, 28, you see the negative 2, it always negative 2. That would be this flat line here, the red flat line you see on the chart. Now, what it's telling you, let's use 29, for example. If the stock price is $29, the long premium you paid was negative $3, so cash outflow. You received $1. Because the stock price is below both strike price, there's no action, so everything is 0. There's no buying and selling the stock because no exercise took place. And when you go ahead and net all those cash flows, you got a negative 2. But the point is, you don't have to do this. If you follow this, adjusted by the premiums, negative 2. Flat line here, the red one. Now, what happens when the stock price is between 30 and 35, but not equal? We're talking about this range here. Not 35, not 30, but everything in between. Notice there's a range here, so there's no one number. We got a range from -1 to 2. So that's why here you don't have a specific number. It's whatever the stock price is minus 32. How do we get to the 32? I don't have the formula there, but I'm going to put it here on the side. Same thing. This is what we're looking for before we get there. We are in this scenario, so I'm going to use this payoff. So let's use, for example, any given stock price. Let's say it has to be between 30 and 35. Let's use 32 as an example. Well, let me use 33, so we get a number. 33 stock price minus K1, which is 30, right? But now remember the premiums, minus the $3 you paid for the long position on the call when you purchased the call, plus the $1 you received. And if we did this right, we should get $1. So this $1 is the same as this. So when the stock price is 33, you follow the formula, you get $1. Now, that is when I do the entire thing. So how do I get this 32 here? What we do is ignore the stock price for a moment because that's already in the formula here on the left. But let's do the rest. Minus K1. So minus K1. Again, minus the $3 plus the $1 you received. And that's where you got the negative 31 there. That's formatted properly. So this negative 32 represents that minus 32 there. So stock price minus the $32. Again, how we got it? We ignore the stock ST part, and because we already have it there on the left, we're going to do the rest, follow the rest. So minus K1, as it says there, negative 30, minus the $3 you paid for the premium here, plus the $1 you received as a premium here. And that's how that 32 came about. All you're doing is filling up the rest of this minus K1 and adjusting for the premiums. Okay, and last but not least, what if the stock price is 35 or greater? Notice that $3 here, that's why you got $3 all the way here. That represents the top line. Oh, by the way, this here represents that red line going up that way. That's that section there. That's what you see from -1 to 2. It starts low and moves up. Starts low, moves up. Now the last piece is the $3, but it flattens out. It never changes. How do we do it? K2 minus K1 adjusted by the premiums. So we take K2 minus K1 minus the $3 you paid for that call, plus the $1 you received for selling that call, $3. And that's that range here. Once again, if I was to talk about how it plays out in the cash flows, but you don't have to because you got these formulas now. Stock price of 36. $3 went out to buy the call. $1 came in when you sold the call because an exercise happened at strike price on the long call. $30 go out. But 36 come in because of the stock price and that position. But then the short call flips a little bit because now 36 go out because you're in a different position. However, the strike price is 35, so you have to settle for 35. And when you net that out, you get $3. But no need to bother too much with all the cash flows here in the order which happened, because that's where you have these formulas here to get straight to the number you need. Okay, that's it for this video. See you on the next one.